Towers here. Today I'm going to take you through all the spawn points in Al Mazrah, all 21 different spawn points, and my game plan as to how I'm going to play from those spawns as I get each one. It should give us a total of 63 players in each map at the maximum at the start of each raid in Al Mazrah. So I don't know if every single spawn point is always filled at the beginning of each game, but I'm assuming that it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load into Al Mazrah solo, just naked, no loot. I'm going to bring in a ground loot 3 attachment cast off 74U, and I will get myself into a hunker down position and open up the TAC map and go through each spawn point and how I like to play each one. At this point in the DMZ life cycle, I've pretty much done all of my missions that I want to do. I'm now just working on improving myself as a gunfighter, and so now I'm just strictly hunting in Al Mazrah, and I don't play with proxy chat on. I play on party only, so that I can give open comms to my teammates in the middle of a gunfight and not give away our plans or positioning to the other team. And because I only play with on party only voice, and because of the state of the game, I have to assume that everyone is out to kill me, and I'm not looking to team up or be friendly with anybody anymore. If my team does come across a solo and we happen to kill him, I'll turn on my proxy chat if I have the time to pick them up, but generally I don't like to pick up players or assimilate. Managing 2 people is enough, and is difficult enough, and managing 3 other teammates is like herding cats. It's just very difficult. You never know what you're getting yourself into with that random 4th guy, what kind of player he is, if you can trust him or not. You know, a lot of the people I play with frequently keep their proxy chat on, and you know, so they're able to tell me what the other team is thinking or saying, but I want to have that ability to freely communicate with my team in the middle of a gunfight and not tell the other team, you know, that we're above them, that we're below them, what we're planning to do, you know. And so again, I'm just going to load in solo and just hunker down and open up the TAC map and go through all the spawn locations and how I like to push from those locations, and that will be dependent on if you're geared or not, if you're coming in naked or not. I would advise you to coordinate with your teammates, and you know, it's a little bit easier to play if everybody's on the same page in terms of gear. If everybody's coming in unkitted, naked, you know, it's easier and more cohesive to play around that than it is to, you know, play with, you know, one guy that's naked, the other 2 guys are kitted, 2 guys are naked, 1 guy's kitted, because that's going to really it's going to impact your coordination and what your overall strategy is. If you're all coming in naked or kitted, you can you don't have to worry about, um, if you're coming in naked, your priority before you start launching into team fights is to get upgraded armor systems to get yourself into a 2 or 3 plate vest, to get at least 1 or 2 of your guys with self-res items. And if you're coming in kitted, you're going to be pushing teams off the rip, and if you have 1 guy or 2 guys that are naked and you're kitted, you're kind of already in kill mode, and you're not really playing. Um, you're not playing with their weaknesses in mind, so you can become quickly overconfident. Uh, you can, you know, it just hurts your coordination to play like that. But um, if you're a more disciplined or experienced player, you can compensate. You can keep reminding yourself that your teammates are at at a disadvantage. Um, I like to. I feel that my skill uh, is good enough now to where I can confidently push teams in a 2 plate vest. And there's obviously I would want to be in a 3 plate, but um, spending the whole match looting and building plate carriers in the barter system is, you can spend half the match doing that, and as soon as you're ready to go and get yourself into some team fights, you can easily get wiped by the first team that you come across. As the match goes on, only the better players are going to be surviving, and so you're going to be throwing yourself into fights against guys that are completely warm, that have fought, several other teams by that point, have taken all their loot. Um, they're full of plates and utility items. They have kill streaks, and this will be if you're, all 3 of you are building vests, and then 20 minutes into the match you decide to start team fighting. That's going to be your first team fight. You're going to be going into it cold with no warm up. Your actions per minute are going to be relatively low, and um, you're probably going to get wiped by the first team that you decide to fight. If you're not fighting from a serious advantage, or if you don't catch them off guard. So one thing I want to start working on with the guys I play with regularly is, if we do decide to loot and you know, uh, build ourselves up from nothing, is to do a contract and hit a quick exfil to reset, to come into the next match with a perk with 3 plate armor systems and be ready to go from there, and so that we can push off the spawn. Um, but anyway, let's get into it, and we will go over the spawn points, and then I'll try to exfil, get out, and do something productive in the match. Maybe go for Chemist or the high-rise tack, or do a contract and reset, or maybe finish with Koche, as I still have about half my wallet to fill and a few slots in contraband that I can use for some more ARs or SMGs. And taking in this cast off, it's a hybrid weapon. It's a good in-between weapon. If you're only coming in with one weapon, what I like to do is to only come in, to never load anything into my primary slot, to avoid that hand glitch where the game eats one of your weapons. And the Cast-Off 74U is a good hybrid weapon. It's a hybridization between an AR and an SMG. It has the mobility of an SMG and the the reach of an AR, and even at close ranges, the 74U can be very punchy, even though it doesn't have a high rate of fire. And I've built, if I'm purposefully coming in with a 74U as my only weapon, I've built out a kind of a hybrid SMG AR build, and this is what that looks like. It's going to have the largest mag possible. I'm going to load AP rounds into that mag. I'm going to put on a hip-fire vertical foregrip that also gives me a little bit of recoil steadiness and aim walking steadiness. And I'm going to come in, I'm going to load that with a compensator, the Sakin, which gives me both vertical and horizontal recoil control. And because of those two attachments, the vertical foregrip and the compensator, I'm going to use an ADS laser as my fifth attachment to kind of get back some of that ADS time I'm losing by equipping the compensator and the vertical foregrip. And the iron sights on this weapon are very good. This is the same platform as the Kastov 7.62, the 5.45, the RPK, the Vaznev, the Minibok, and the broadside. But out of this weapon category, the iron sights on these two rifles and this LMG and are very poor. You don't have a good sight picture. The front post is not distinct enough. It doesn't have enough space around it to kind of see what's going on, and it's a very blocky, kind of obscured sight picture. But the 74U and the Vaznev, even though it's the same type of setup, there is space in between the rear sight and the foresight that gives you a lot more clarity. And the front sight post on these two weapons is very clear and distinct. And the sight picture on the Minibok is also very good with its irons, but the Minibok on the whole as a weapon has very poor rate of fire, very poor damage per round. You do have 64 rounds base in the magazine, but you're going to need every single one of those to net armor breaks and downs and kills, and it's just not a good. There are many better SMG options. I would not recommend using the Minibok unless you're in a very dire spot and you need a secondary or you don't have one. And picking that up is a good stopgap between finding a better SMG and not having one. But the iron sight picture on the 74U and the Vaznev are very good. I would always recommend running the iron sights on those two platforms to just, number one, give yourself a very good clean sight picture, and number two, to have the fastest ADS time possible. Any sight you put on, even if it's a very lightweight red dot sight, is going to slow your ADS time, and that may not be noticeable while you're experimenting with different builds in the firing range, but in game and under pressure, it's really going to matter. But anyway, that's what we hope to get our ground loot 3 attachment Kastov to look like. It already has a 45 round mag. It does have an angled foregrip, and and it has a red dot optic on it. So the first thing we're going to do when we get it to a workbench is we're going to delete the red dot optic to give us that clean iron sight picture and the fastest ADS time possible for that slot. The very next thing we're going to do is we're going to slap on the armor piercing rounds. That's just going to increase our overall damage output and give us very good bullet penetration. That's something you need to start working into your repertoire, is to start shooting through walls and semi-hard to hard cover, getting to guys in behind what they believe to be a safe place. So priority 1 is deleting the red dot optic to make our gun immediately more usable. Priority 2 is to attach the AP round ammo type option. Priority 3 is going to be to put on the compensator, the sack and tread 40, and that's going to make our rounds that we've put in, it's going to make our shots more effective. So we're going to be able to have more effective use of our large mag in our AP rounds. And then we're going to put on the vertical foregrip as priority 4. And if we have the time and resources, we're going to finish it off by putting on the ADS laser, the FSS OLE5. And again, that's going to help us gain back some of that ADS time we're losing by putting on the compensator and the vertical foregrip. And that's just kind of the icing on the cake. The gun is usable and lethal without the laser, but it's going to be even more so with the laser. And we're going to try to take advantage of all 5 slots. So this weapon from my insured has tuning on all slots that have tuning available. So it's not going to behave exactly like my insured, but it's going to be close enough. And using this weapon, the cast-off, we're going to be able to forego having to prioritize getting a SMG off the rip. So if I find a bot with a Vaznev, I'll go ahead and pick it up just to give myself more flexibility and to split up my ammo usage between an SMG type weapon and an AR, so that I'm not going to have to worry about running out of ammo as I'm cycling through bots. And as I get into confrontations with players, I don't want to be low ammo on the only weapon that I have. So, but I'm going to be able to avoid that for the most part, because the 74U does have a low rate of fire relative to other ARs, especially relative to SMGs. So that won't be a huge problem, but I'm not going to go out of my way to try to find an SMG, because I already have some of the SMG capabilities from this AR. So let's load in and let's get ourselves into a round of Al Mazrah. And brought in 20K of that'll be enough to get me a 2-plate, a medium bag, to build out my cast-off and to fill up my bag with an extra muni box and armor plates, and that should be good enough to get me started. So let's. So what I'm going to do when I get to a buy station is I'm going to my first priority is to get a better armor plate system, is to get a 2-plate vest, and then from there, once I have that 2-plate vest, I'll probably just buy a couple stacks of plates and then try to use the remaining cash to fully build out the cast-off. And then after that weapon is fully built out, then I'll spend the remaining cash on munitions boxes and plates. Um, so let's get into it. And I'm going to leave my in-game audio volume down to enable you guys to hear me better. But if I do get into a fight, I'll have to quickly bump that up just to give me better audio cues. So just be aware of that. So I have it set on 8 right now, my volume, and if I get into a fight or have to defend myself, I'll have to quickly bump it up to 100, so it'll be a quite jarring adjustment, but I'll try to give you guys a heads up before I do that. And I'm going to leave myself on party only. So that I'm not broadcasting to the rest of the lobby.
Welcome to Al-Mazrah. Exploring, looting, and securing intel will open access to missions and targets. Expect resistance from local forces, and watch for other operators in the AO.
So from here, I'm going to go to this police station.
Ultra One, enemy threat appears low
to
in
get
your
myself
area.
a 2-plate.
Ultra One, enemy threat is moderate near your location.
Just saving myself a little bit of cash. Open these doors slowly so they don't aggro bots. I'll quickly go upstairs and checking to see where gas is. Checking here for extra selfie.
Ultra One, be advised, an operator in your area needs medical.
As a solo, I do need to get out of this area pretty quickly. It's kind of a hot spot. So I'm not getting lucky on a 2-plate. Go ahead and pick that up. Get into one of these houses over here. Those bots did see me, but they didn't fire, which is good. They might might start walking over here, but alright, so I'm in a pretty good spot here, even though I do only have a 1 plate. Hopefully those bots will de-aggro at some point soon. Those bots that saw me that were right over there. But this is the spawn I got right here. This is just south of Said City. You can call this area Said City South, or the South Bank. And these two...
Moving here.
Oh, jeez. Get back up on this toilet. And I think I'm... Alright. So, from this spawn, if I'm spawning in naked,
Moving here.
as I just did, I'll first immediately jump water and go for this police station.
Moving here.
This police station is usually pretty good about giving you some ground loot, 2-plate armor vests, and you'll occasionally get a lucky 3-plate from here as well. You can also move into mall if you'd like, but I generally don't like to do that. Mall is full of tier 2 and 3 bots, and anybody in kind of this radius is going to be able to hear, especially if they're inside cities, or they're going to be able to hear you engaging the bots in there. And especially those tier 3 bots are very heavily armored, so you're going to be having to put out a lot of shots to put those guys down. And it's a very tight space to fight from. You can drop into the roof here, here, and here. There's also a glass skylight system right here. So anybody can, they have multiple ways to drop in there. You can also get through the vents right here by like parking a cargo truck, for example, climbing on top of the cab and mantling into the vents. So that is not a safe location. So from this spawn, if I'm spawning in naked, I'll go to the police station here to get myself a plate carrier system. And if I don't find one there, like I just did, I always bring in cash with me to afford myself a 2-plate. So from here, if I don't find a 2-plate system, I'll actually go up to what we call safe buy right here. This is right underneath Zaya. So that's really your biggest threat, is a team that has hit the broken dome here, where all those crates are, and getting some amount of kit and then jumping immediately to safe buy. And people do that to spend the cash they've just got on utility items and armor plates at this buy. And it's called safe buy because there's really not besides the Zaya Overlook, there's not really any other spot. You aren't going to get pushed from any other spot. And if you do start getting... somebody just popped a UV, so I'm going to have to actually get moving. I'm going to bump up my audio here. Try to move to safe buy.
Hostile UAV overhead. Ultra One, copy that. Requesting medical for you now.
That I grabbed.
Yes, solo here.
We're full.
Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming. Ultra One, activity has increased in the area. Keep your eyes open.
Alright, so if I'm kitted from that spawn, option 1 is to push backwards south into Sawa, and you're going to meet at least one of the two teams that spawn down there. There's a team that spawns just north of this buy station. They're going to spawn right here, and those guys typically will push back into the buy to get themselves utility plates or armor systems if they've brought in cash, or they will push north into Said. And if they're pushing north into Said, they're usually looking for a fight that will be oriented around the 4-stack right here. They can push farther up north to intercept the quarry teams, and quarry is a hot spot. You're always going to find some amount of team fighting up here. But the other team that spawns in Sawa is going to spawn on this ship, on this beached ship. And if you're spawning there,
Ultra One, an operator responded to your medic request. They're inbound.
They'll glitch out, and that'll put them about here. And they have just I don't like to glitch or do any exploits or anything like that, so if I'm spawning at the ship, I'll try to push that buy station team, and that's usually my preferred push from that spawn, whether I be naked or kitted. There's a hospital here just to the east of the grounded ship, so you can head there for a quick self-res. There's also a bank at Sawa if you need some cash off the rip. And there's sometimes, like there is now, there's sometimes a buy that's a secondary option from this buy station. You can work your way, if you're naked, you can work your way backwards here.
Ultra One, an operator is requesting medical near your location. Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
So it looks like there's a hunter team. They've just, one of them has just grabbed the shop top, he's thrown it again, and hopped back into it again. They got a light helo there. So they're probably fighting a team. But, so
Ultra One, activity is increasing near your location. Stay alert.
We push into this buy station, and the way we do that is you can either swim if you've got a scuba mask all the way up to this seawall here, and play from the seawall usually to the roof of the buy station, and or you can push from jumping off the ship. You can get to the top of this market and then make a jump to the top of this house right here, this two-story house, and then to the roof of the buy from that two-story house. And there is another spawn over here. These guys will spawn right about here. And if you're spawning there, the typical push is to push the lighthouse team, which spawns on the back side of this little island. Those guys will either push into Serif Bay, or they'll get a ground vehicle and try to make it up to Broken Dome up here for the loot, or they'll push backwards into Bagra, which is a little bit safer, especially at the beginning of a match. You'll be able to loot and build a 3-plate from there. You've got a relatively safe buy station over there always. In this little warehouse cluster, you have a lot of lockers, so you can find yourself a 2-plate carrier, or I'm trying to talk to these guys here.
Ultra One, an operator is near your location and requesting medical.
So they're still fighting over there. These warehouses here have a lot of lockers, so those are usually good for medium bags, 2-plate carriers, and I usually find a lot of games consoles in lockers as well. And then lockers will also be good for materials for 3-plate builds, so you can find liquor in lockers, soothing hand creams, comic books, games consoles, things like that. So you can find all 3 buildable vests in Al Mazrah. Those materials are usually going to be good coming from those lockers. And also at every buy station, they're also usually going to have a 2-plate or a 3-plate carrier, just a standard 3-plate carrier, as ground loot. So it's always worth it to check a buy station, especially early in the match, or if the buy looks fresh or untouched. You can look in these these buy station buildings. It's not going to be the case in other buys that are just by themselves. But all the buy station buildings, you want to check those for a 2 or 3 plate system. So we're going to work our way from the west side of the map and do a full rotation around. So we've already talked about the spawn that I came in with here, the spawn just to the north of this buy here, this ship spawn, um, this call this beach spawn, and lighthouse spawn. And so the next spawn is going to be right here at the tip of this pier, and we call that port. That's the only spawn in this POI, is going to be right here. And so if you're naked, you can go right to this ship. This ship is always going to have some crates on it, and it also has some loot starting from the back of the ship. So usually my teammates, once we get up onto this catwalk and this bridge here, my teammates will usually hang a left and go for those crates up there. But I actually like to start my run from the back of the ship forward. So that leaves all that loot for my teammates, and you can get lucky with a 2 plate or a bag back here. There's going to be a little bundle of loot back here. There's sometimes some loot on the very top of this structure. I found self-reses here before. There's going to be loot underneath that opposing structure on the opposite side, on just the first floor, the ground level. And then there is a crate. Let's see. You start getting into your crates right about here. So there's going to be loot all over here that your teammates are probably not going to know or care about. So you can easily get a 2 plate or a bag just from back there before you even start hitting the crates up here. And from that, if you do choose to do a loot run from the ship, you've lost advantage on tab spawn right here. There's going to be a spawn at this pier right here, and there's always going to be a tab parked right here. So we call that tab spawn. And if you're kitted and you're spawning here, you can jump into this rib, this boat, push directly up and right into the back of that tab spawn. And I don't like to push right up to their spawn point, because if they're lingering here, they're going to be able to see you and hear you coming from a mile away. They're going to start putting shots on you, and you're going to be fighting from low ground to high ground. So I actually like to loop from here over to here, this little cove, mantle up from the rocks, and then start fighting our way from these buildings over to the tab spawn guys here. These buildings will afford you, multiple layers of verticality to play from, rooftops to play from, and it'll also give you eyes on guys that are pushing up south from Port or Said into you on a vehicle, and guys that are pushing from the north to the south in a vehicle on the road or on the railway. So if you're spawning at tab spawn and you're naked, you can choose to go for an immediate push into quarry spawn, these guys that'll spawn right here, or you can choose to take that tab and get first access to this buy station, or use the tab to go all the way to Zaya at the Broken Dome, or push south into Said, what have you. But my preferred move from here is to either push up into quarry to catch those guys in transition, um, or to go for this buy station and start fighting from the buy once I get a two-plate, whether I have to buy one or if I find one very quickly. I don't like to loot around too much early on if I'm naked at this buy station, because this is a very hot zone. You're going to have the tab spawn that is able to push you very quickly. You're going to have enemy teams that are in a vehicle push up from the south. You're going to have the same thing happening from the north down, and you're also going to have to contend with this quarry spawn can easily just start hoofing it over to this buy station, and there's also a spawn right here, and so we'll call this one quarry spawn. These guys here, this is tab spawn here, and then this is
Ultra One, actual. Radiation is spreading through the area.
I won't be able to
Advise
be
moving to an
picked up
extract
now, but
point.
I'll still stay in the match to go over the TAC map, talk to you guys. This one doesn't have a great name. It's kind of in between POIs. You don't want to call this spawn quarry spawn, because this is quarry spawn proper up here. So this one you can call like quarry northeast, and it'll go ahead and kick me out here. So we'll have to try this again in a new match. So we came in there naked. We didn't lose anything. We just lost that one contraband 74U, but I'm okay with that. There's always going to be plenty of those in the next match. I do have another one just like it, so we'll bring that in, try to do the same thing, build that one out. Bring in another 20K to do that, and to get ourselves a 2-plate and a medium bag, and utility items after we build that weapon out. But let's go ahead and load in again here. And what we're doing here is we're going over all the spawn points. I would do this if it were possible to stream outside of a match, but it looks like I can only stream with a game running. So I'd like to do this from just screenshots, but we'll have to do this in match. I won't be able to stream otherwise. we'll see what the game gives us here in terms of spawn location.
Welcome to Al Mazrah.
Alright, we're spawning in No Name. We're going to hit the buy over here real quick for a 2-plate and to build out our weapon. And then we'll hunker down in one of these buildings and continue to go over the spawn points. There's usually a gaggle of bots right up here that I'm trying to avoid. And usually I break through that window right there, but I'm going to actually choose to go through the door here. And I'm just going to look for a free 2-plate. Got one. And I'm going to open and close these doors quietly to avoid bot aggro. I'm going to continue to look down here for a 3-plate. I do have a little bit of time before anybody is able to make it over this way. Alright, we'll go ahead and start fixing up our weapon. This is a medium bag. Try to nab a self-res. So this POI that we've spawned in is the only POI on the map without a designated name. As you can see, all the other POIs here have names printed on the map. This is the only one that doesn't, so we call this no name. Your spawn point is going to be here at no name, and if I'm naked, again, I'll always bring in cash with me. I'll immediately, you're the only guy spawning over here. The next closest team is going to be Death Spawn right here on the dune. And those guys are typically going to push into this buy station, or they're going to push north and start going for high rise, or if the train is late on these tracks here, they'll jump train and they'll stay on it to loot and typically get off about here. This POI also doesn't have a name, but this is close enough to airport to kind of count as that area. There's some fighting going down at Death Spawn. You saw that PA just come in. So there are two teams fighting right here. So that's spawn 1 on Death Spawn, and then the other spawn is going to be on this little dock right here. And those guys will almost always push up to this 4-stack apartment and look down on this team that spawned here and start fighting from a high ground advantage into that buy station right there. So if I'm spawning here at No Name, I'm going to run to this buy, get myself a 2-plate and a bag. If I only have enough cash for one or the other, you always want to prioritize your armor system first. So I'll get a 2-plate here, and sometimes you can find a lucky bag or something like that. You do have a little bit of time, and you have a lot of space to see other teams coming into you. So if you spawn at No Name naked, you're usually spending a little bit of time here, getting an armor plate system from the buy, or you're starting to build one from all these buildings, all these materials that can be found in these buildings. This is a 2-story market right here with a playable rooftop, and this is another market right over here with a slightly higher roof. And there is an apartment building right here that's going to be ultimate height in that area. There's only one ladder on the back side up to the tippy top of that roof. And there is kind of a secret jump up spot using the open skylight, which I can show you in just a bit. And those are the only 2 ways to get on that roof. So that's a good spot to fight from defensively. So I usually go from this buy station. Once I get a 2-plate, you can start to third party this fight that's happening up here. It looks like one team has moved over to the roof of Police Academy. The other one's fighting them from the low ground over here in these little farms. And so you can choose to start pushing north to third party that Death Spawn fight right here in between the 4-stack apartment and the buy station, or you can choose to. You'll always be able to get the train on these tracks from the No Name spawn. So a lot of guys like to jump on the train naked to loot up, and that'll ride them through this way. But almost immediately as you jump on that train, you're going to run into this team that spawns right here. And what I actually like to do from that spawn is to anticipate that the train's team, that there is going to be a team on the train, and I'll actually take this 3-stack apartment right here, look down from the rooftop, and that gives you a very good vantage point on that train team coming. And if you get breaks or knocks from that, you can easily jump onto the train and finish your kills from there. You can also look down on the train from this roof of this warehouse, but it is lower than this roof. So if the train team decides to hop, they can take that roof, but you will have height advantage if you choose to fight from that 3-stack apartment there. And that's going to be the highest ground in that area besides this 4-stack apartment back here. But there is a lot of stuff in between you, and they
Ultra
cannot
One,
make
we're
a
seeing
jump from
increased
that
activity
4-stack
in the area.
onto the
Stay
3-stack
sharp.
roof. The best they're going to be able to do is make a jump onto one of these two roofs, and you're still going to have height advantage on the top of on the third floor roof, looking down onto these two guys here. So um, from those from these buildings, which have the ultimate height on that side of this POI, you can always choose to if a team's camping the top of this 4-stack apartment, you can always choose to rotate up here to these hills that are on the east side of Al Sharim. You can look down on them and easily make a jump to secure a finish once you've gotten down on that rooftop from here. And Al Sharim is going to be the ultimate height that'll overlook this entire area. Really, this whole, you know, all of the map up to Zaya, so you'll be able to see everybody all the way up to high rise. And so again, my spawn was here at No Name. I'll usually take the buy station, and I don't like to hop the train from here just because there's such limited time before that train gets to this other team who should be taking that rooftop advantage on you. So if I do hop the train here, I'll try to get off somewhere around here to negate that team's height advantage, and then you can start playing from the buildings. This is a 4-stack apartment, or I think it's a 3-stack actually. So you can start fighting that team if they've held that roof. You can start fighting them from there, or work your way over to this 4-stack to get that 1 level advantage on these guys. So going south, the next team that's going to spawn closest to you is going to be that team right there. They usually, what I will do is I'll go and take this 3-stack apartment and overlook the train team as they come in here. There's a lot of lockers in this warehouse right here, so that's usually going to be good for a medium bag or a 2-plate. There's also markets over here for other materials to build a 3-plate vest, but once you're there, you're kind of stuck with either fighting your way up to Sharim to a buy station like this, but you're going to have a lot of tier 2 and 3 bots that you'll have to wade through up here, and everybody will be able to see you fighting them because since that's the ultimate high ground, the tracer rounds are going to show for absolutely everybody that's on this side of the map, so they're going to know you're up there. So if you're building vests from this spawn, usually your safest bet is to get to a buy station over at Airport or to go back into No Name. And if a team is chosen to stay at No Name, that's because they're most likely under geared and they're not just camping at fully geared waiting for a team to pass. They're usually in the middle of trying to get looted up or build a vest. So you have a good idea that you if you can get to this buy and get your plate carrier system, you may have an advantage on these guys that are lingering in No Name. And the No Name POI is going to be the next place if the death spawn, whoever comes out on top at the death spawn fight, if they don't push north into the city and try to take high rise, they're going to come into No Name, and you can catch them on a vehicle on the overpass or driving up past here to get to a hospital for self-res items, or moving into this police station for encrypted hard drives or encrypted USB sticks for comms or stealth vests. And so besides besides this team here,
Moving here.
you're going to have a team that spawns on the west side of the airport. They're going to spawn right here.
Moving here.
And these guys will either push towards ATC to take that fight against the team that spawns right here,
Moving here.
or they will push north into this POI and try to take these
Moving
guys
here.
if they're lingering. And those guys, if they're not pushing east and trying to catch the train team, they're going to push into this bank
Moving
over here, start looting up for some cash, for encrypted hard drives, for encrypted sticks, and they're going to go from there, or they'll be
Moving here.
sat on the top of this hotel right here. And so if a team is camped out on top of
Moving here.
the bank or the hotel, you always want to fight them from a high ground advantage. So you're going to want to take these
Moving here.
hills up here that will look down on these guys. That will enable you to bloodthirst them once you get it down on a roof. You can easily jump from this spot here to the roof of the bank or the roof of the hotel, and you can always push up into Shireen to get an even bigger height advantage if you have some snipers on your team. But I would recommend fighting from that ridge right there so that you can quickly fly down and finish right after your downs. So the airport team that spawns here
Moving here.
will either push into ATC or they'll push north here, or they'll grab a vehicle and start going on the highway to the west or to the east into No Name. Or if you have an armored boat that spawns next to you, you can also choose to use that armored boat to push up into No Name, or my preferred push from there would be actually backwards into Bagra to hit this buy station, which is going to be relatively safe. And if these guys have chosen to push ATC, you're going to be able to see them jumping into you at that buy, so you're going to be able to put shots on them while they're vulnerable floating in the air. So again, the other team that's going to spawn on the east side of airport is going to spawn up here, and they're going to choose to either push into ATC to fight these guys, and you'll usually meet each other on this platform here on the lower portion before you even start zipping all the way up. So if I'm spawning here and I choose to go for the ATC push, I'll actually get on this side of the platform to look at that ladder and to hold guys that are pushing, that have chosen to run up here and are trying to take ATC. And you can option 2 for these guys, if you don't want to push into ATC or start going north into Akhtar, you can push backwards into Bagra and hit that safe buy station, or start looting for a 3-plate armor system, or catch a light helo spawn that's going to usually spawn there or there. And so from this spawn here, your next closest team besides the airport team is going to be this lighthouse team right here. And if you're spawning at lighthouse, you have to be immediately wary of this team that's spawning here at this UTV. If they have that UTV, they're going to use it to come up this highway system past the resort complex and over this bridge and into you. And what I like to do if I am that team, the UTV team, is instead of driving on the main road all the way up here, which will give them shots onto you as you're coming. You can choose to wrap either left or right, and my preferred wrap is to wrap right, because you have a little bit more cover from these buildings. And if you can get into this building here,
Moving here.
you can get on the balcony on the second floor and attempt to jump over here. This
Moving
level
here.
is a little bit lower than this level. There's a ladder right here,
Moving here.
and you may be able to just to jump and mantle and forego that ladder, and start getting up underneath
Moving here.
a team that's decided to take the lighthouse. I would not recommend fighting from that lighthouse because you don't have any cover up there. It's a very small play area up there, so the best you can do is just go prone and hope they don't hit any further shots on you as you're broken or trying to plate up. But if you do choose to hold lighthouse for this team that's pushing you from over
Moving
here, you actually want to start fighting them from the rooftop of
Moving
this
here.
building here, and you'll have vision of them as they're pushing over from the right side. Guys typically don't
Actual to Ultra
push
One, winds
from
are
the left
picking up
side,
in the AO. Advise you get to
and
extraction
if
before
you
radiation moves in.
if you cede lighthouse to them, that's okay, because it's pretty easy to shoot guys from low ground to high ground on that lighthouse. Again, you don't have any cover up there, and you don't want to try to push from underneath the lighthouse there up to the top, because there's only one way up that ladder in the center from the stairs, and all they have to do is just be patient and wait for you to attempt to push that ladder. So if you are trying to get to the top there, if they're not giving that up, if they're not jumping, have a couple of your teammates either on this building or from the windows in this building, putting suppressive fire onto these guys and securing some armor breaks or downs, and use something like a smoke grenade to throw up and take that ladder by yourself to try to secure those downs at the top of the lighthouse. Now these guys that are spawning here, if they don't choose to go for the lighthouse push, they'll use the UTV if they've been given it, and they will push all the way up into Zaya using the hill climb capabilities of the UTV. They'll push usually from the left side of Zaya here and go up to Broken Dome for those free crates up there. Or these guys will push across into South Said, or they'll push from here to start third-partying this fight that's going to be happening at this buy station over here. I'm just going to check time. Gas is going to move in minute 40. Gas is pretty far away. Take a moment to figure out my exfil plans. I do have a hostage up at Shireen that's going to be tough solo. I do have a regular exfil down here that I could try to pop. Let's see if I have any hostages. Downtown doesn't look like it. We have Scav right here. Somebody's just taken Scav, so I know they're going to have an advanced. They're going to be near that hostage. It looks like final is going to be at Bagra here, so I'm going to have to probably hit this soon. Might try to work my way over to Sawa, do that hostage from there. But let's start working on our exfil. Let's plan for this hostie over here. And we don't have a self-res, but we'll try to go for hospital for a self-res real quick.
Moving here.
And I'm gonna just turn up my in-game audio real quick.
Ultra One, actual. Winds are pushing radiation through the area. Advise moving to extraction when able.
Looks like somebody's been here.
Follow the vehicle.
Ultra One, enemy threat appears low in this area. Ultra One, there's a heavily armored target with a weapons case nearby. We've marked their location on your TAC map. Engage at your own risk.
because we're using the underbarrel glitch, I should have tried to go for the knife on the guy on the top of the car right there. But just died to a full team of exploiters, so not much I could do about that there. But let's see here. Just taking a look at the contraband stash to see if I can bring in anything to fix up. I do have some tacks here I can bring in. Let's see, so on this one, we'll just get rid of that optic right off the bat. Throw on a 60 round mag, throw on the AP rounds, long barrel, and probably add a suppressor instead of that compensator. Might choose to keep the compensator, but we'll get rid of the vertical foregrip and either put on an angled grip or an ADS laser like the FSS OLE5.
Welcome to Al Mazrah. Explore,
We've got
secure
death
intel,
spawn
and
here.
loot to gain access to new missions. Enemy threat is high, so expect contact.
Might be able to make this train. We're going to try it.
Ultra One, enemy threat is moderate near your location.
Looks like we'll just miss it. audio here.
An enemy armored commander is approaching your location. Ultra One, an operator is requesting medical near your location.
Oops, we were going down. Didn't mean to go down, wanted to go up.
Buy station marked. Found a vehicle.
Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
So I just need a couple batteries, and I'm good for a comms vest.
Ultra One, activity has increased in the area. Keep your eyes open. 1, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
Buy station marked.
Ultra One actual. High winds are increasing in the AO. Move to an extract point before radiation spreads.
go coach out here. Going to get a perk from a successful exfil here, and although we did spend time building that comms vest, we probably gonna switch to a tempered once we get down here. Find some acidic. We do have a scuba, so we'll be able to find those keys for one of the two back entrances to factory admin, where the buy station is.
We've lost visual on your location. Use any markers you can find to navigate through the area.
We lost our tactical, but that's fine. We don't really use spokes down here anyway. That's why I stowed my throwing knives. A recon drone, hopefully for a bomb drone build and get secure away.
سمعت إن المرتزقة حول يوصلوا للمعتقلين.
شو اللي عم يصير؟
Ultra One, be advised, threats are moving. Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming.
كل شي ويموت. هدول المرتزقة بدكم تسرقوا منا رح رجعكم يا شيخ جهنم. أخي هادي هون.
Increased activity in the area. Stay sharp.
عمل شو هادي هون يا اخي.
Oopsies.
وينك يا ابن الشرموطة؟ لا تشيل خطر عنه. بعد المرتزقة حاولوا يوصلوا للمعتقلين. كل شيء تمام.
Actual to Ultra One, winds are picking up in the AO. Advise you get to extraction before radiation moves in. Ultra One, be advised, hostile activity. Ultra One, you've got hostile reinforcements incoming. Ultra One, activity is increasing near your location. Stay alert. officiate. Ultra One, there's increased enemy activity in the area. Expect contact. Ultra One, actual. High winds are pushing in radiation. Start moving to an extract point.
Secure buy so that we could build our bomb drone with that recon drone, and we would just need to find a C4. But we had searched all over and gas was spreading, so we decided just to take our winnings and get out of there. And we switched to a tempered vest from the comms vest we had built topside, and I find more value in the tempered rather than the comms. I don't have any bundles. I'm not coming in with UAVs, and if I do get a UAV, I'd prefer to give it to a teammate because I have that low-end console glitch with the UAV where many of my pings in the beginning will just not show up. So the UAV is actually not one of my preferred kill streaks. I'd rather take a bomb drone or a precision airstrike over a UAV. And that's just something to do with my system. But we did get two fully built tacks out of it. We got the high-rise tack, and we were able to build out the tack that we brought in, and we got a bonus fell out of it as well. And we're only 200k away from our max wallet, so that was a pretty good cash run as well. And we got a streak out of it because of our exfil from Kosh. Strong arms are a really good perk for a smoke and knives player like myself. Chuck those smokes even further, and it helps a lot with the knife trajectory being projected for hitting moving targets, and also just to secure those long-range bot kills if you have to, or somebody's camping a window or the top of a roof or something. You can get much better angle on them if you have that projection showing on your screen. But down in Coach, I like to run flashes or stuns to be able to round those corners on guys, keep them blinded and deafened in the case of the flash. You have a little bit more utility with a flash than you do a stun. If they're staring at you, if they're holding the right angle, they can still fire through a stun. They'll have all the benefits of rotational aim assist, even though they can't move themselves. So I'm actually going to choose a flash over a stun, but I'll carry a stun until I find a flash. And you can use, if you're down in Coast, you can just go ahead and switch up your tacticals and try something different. And get good experience down there against tier 3 bots and players as well. But Shock 6 are really good for area denial. You could probably use smokes to your advantage, but you know, I think I would rather have a more offensive lethal rather than a smoke down there. You're not covering any wide open areas, and a smoke will help you to just get in or out of one room or cover yourself through one hallway. But you're probably going to get a lot more utility out of something a little bit more offensive, like a flash. Tear gas would be a good option down there. Snapshots grenades are really good. Your UAVs and even the portable radar doesn't work down there. So the only thing that would work would be like a ground radio UAV that a bot would drop. So snaps can be a really good tool to see exactly which angle or corner a guy's holding. Or if you're not sure if players are down there, you can throw a quick snap to give you an idea. And your spotter scope is going to be pretty useless down there. It does have that thermal capability, but you're not doing any long range engagements, so you're better off just fighting with an SMG or an AR. Obviously you're not doing any sniping down there. Decoys could also come in clutch as well, especially if you throw those before an enemy team knows you're there. And as always, if I'm running solo, I'm going to keep a revive pistol in my field upgrade slot just for a backup selfie. And you guys saw me accidentally trip a wire down there, and that's an instant down. So that's why you always want to have a backup selfie like a revive pistol, or just a flat out regular selfie in one of your first slots so you can quickly equip it. And you saw me do that when I went down. The first thing I did was open up my backpack, cycle over to my spare selfie, which I had in that first slot, and immediately equip it. But we'll go back to our normal smoke and knife setup, and I'll just keep the res pistol there just in case. I want to do another solo run. You'll lose the res pistol if you switch it for anything else. You won't be able to re-equip it. So until you have a plan in mind, just go ahead and keep that, just to give yourself some flexibility. Although you're probably always going to have more utility if you're a smoke player, just by bringing in an extra muni, or bringing in a muni in the place of the extra selfie. And we didn't end up using any insureds for those few runs. I was trying to give you guys a picture of the spawn points. We got through a number of them, but we didn't get through all of them. I'm going to revisit this project later and and continue to go through all the spawn points. And our contraband stash is looking pretty good. I wanted to build out those tacks to give myself something to go to if I end up going through all of my insured from regular PvP runs. I'm going to have something very strong to start out with, and something that I'm very familiar with right at the beginning. These other contraband ARs, even though they're 5 attachment, I'd have to do a lot of work to them. I'd have to get them to a buy station, and that ends up just being wasted time in a normal PvP run, and that could be something that leads to an untimely death, like with these tacks that have the holotherm on there. I'm not a holotherm player, so this is pretty much unusable for me until I am able to get to a buy and delete that optic. But I'm going to sign off here, and thanks for tagging along. I hope you learned something. I'll see you guys very soon in the next one.